Hey YouTube, it's JB. Welcome to Third Eye Lucid Flow. As the NHL wraps up with the Stanley Cup being celebrated in Las Vegas, as Gary Bettman has taken over the NHL, he's knocked the Canadian teams out because he needs to build the business down in the United States, especially in the southern states where hockey isn't that popular as it is in New York or Minnesota as examples. So we really need to try to get new fans in the seat and generate popularity in different new communities that the NHL expands to. Now, Las Vegas, they did a remarkable job of getting to the Stanley Cup in their very first season, so of course that's going to attract a lot of fans into the seats. And I believe this is their sixth season, so they go ahead and win the Stanley Cup in the sixth season on the 13th day. And we've been really building up hockey in the southern states with Tampa Bay Lightning winning Stanley Cups recently, as well now as Florida getting into the Stanley Cup. Florida also had the All-Star game there this season. And in Tampa, they also hosted the NCAA College Final Championship. So hockey's really starting to be built up down in Florida. Teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs, who haven't won the Cup since 1967, the NHL doesn't need to worry about getting a Stanley Cup in Toronto anytime soon because they sell out every single game and there's probably a 100-year waiting list to fill the next available seat. So everybody in Canada absolutely loves hockey, so you don't have to worry about, bringing any Stanley Cups up here. All you have to do is appease the Canadians by giving them the World Championship golds once in a while and maybe a Olympic gold ice hockey. And that seems to satisfy the Canadian people. The NHL has become such a joke, as we can see here. Jamie Benn actually try to take off Mr. Stone's neck here with this cross-check. This should be an indefinite suspension out of the NHL for this kind of stuff. There should be zero tolerance for this kind of play, and the NHL really needs to start cracking down on these sort of penalties and start handing out penalties that are a little bit more severe. It's kind of funny because a couple months ago I was speaking to a couple young gentlemen at a Tim Hortons here in Canada, and I'm pretty sure one of the guys actually subscribed to my channel, but I was telling him at that time that the NHL was trying to build hockey in Florida and Vegas. So literally one of my subscribers on this channel, and he's probably going to watch this video, I had a discussion with him a couple months ago about how they're building up hockey in Florida, how they're building up hockey in Vegas, and then look who's in the Stanley Cup. Florida Panthers versus Las Vegas Golden Knights. I projected myself personally and won a little bit of money that the Las Vegas Knights were going to be in the Stanley Cup, but on the flip side of the coin, on the other division, I saw Boston playing really well this year, and I thought they were actually going to be in the Stanley Cup as well. Now, the problem with the Boston situation when it comes to betting, we don't know how much money people have bet on Boston Bruins. As an example, what if there was $300 billion on Boston Bruins to win the Stanley Cup? It almost looked like Boston was a lock this year to win the Stanley Cup. They didn't lose very much, especially at home, and they set NHL records. So when it comes to sports betting, like I said, we don't know how much money is riding on Boston Bruins. Like, what if there was a $500 billion payout if Boston wins, and there's only $100 million payout if Las Vegas wins? So these are the numbers that nobody knows, and that's why sports gambling, sports betting is so risky, because you could have a team that's like a Boston Bruins example, just dominated the whole season, look great, and then they absolutely choke in the playoffs, right? These guys are under professional contracts in the NHL, so goalies, they could be told to sit a game. they've got no say in the matter, and the coach could be told to sit that player from management. Management could be told by owners. That's the problem when we get money twisted involved into the NHL, is that these things can happen. And we can obviously see from what's happening in the NHL, from all these expansion teams having such great success, winning Stanley Cups, that this is clearly a business now. And I've spent a lot of time on videos to show that everything is completely rigged in the NHL. You obviously know that this stuff is fake. If you want to believe it or deny it to yourself, you know deep down inside that this stuff is fake at this point. I'm going to go ahead and continuing this channel and showing you guys example after example after example after example. And I'm just going to keep going. There's no time period. So if I don't post for a while, or if I post every day, it doesn't matter. Stay subscribed to the channel. I've got a lot more content. Thanks for your time today. Like, share, subscribe. Peace, baby.